FM News Talk 97.1. On-demand audio.
Segregation. They didn't just stop when Dr. King made a speech or the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were signed. Race relations have improved dramatically in my lifetime. Those who deny it are dishonoring the struggles that helped us achieve that progress. But we know
that is President Obama. You were listening to some of his live comments at the Dallas Police Memorial that's taking place right now. Did you detect that Southern accent? Whenever he gets south of the Mason-Dixon line, he starts adopting a Southern accent. Never fails. Every time. I guess he's gonna. I guess he would have to address the racial strife about this, but he's got to be very careful about linking that to. This is a memorial service for 5 police officers who were killed by a nut, by a maniac, who's pointing to his hatred of another race as his motive. But it strikes me today that what the president needs to be focusing on is the tragedy itself and the 5 lives that were lost, and not lecturing America on race and race relations. Save that for the memorial services I'm sure he's going to go to in Minneapolis and Baton Rouge. I'm just not sure this is the appropriate time to do that, quite frankly. But then again, he's president and I'm not. I guess there's a reason for that. I did want to point out that normally on Mondays we do our Twitter poll. This week we are doing it today, and we'll have the results tomorrow. It deals with the shootings of last week. It deals with the outrage being expressed by a lot of people over race right now in this country. And it deals with the comments this weekend by Rudy Giuliani, which really seemed to have set off the left. Because he referred to the folks with Black Lives Matter as inherently racist. The question is, do you agree? Yes or no? And the poll is up live right now at Tony Colombo 971, at Marc Cox 971. I will share that as well. And please spread it around to your friends and let them vote. And let's kind of take the temperature and determine whether or not you agree with Rudy Giuliani that there's some inherent racism in the Black Lives Matter movement or not. And we'll have the results for you tomorrow here on the show. Bring Tony in to talk about that. So glad you're with us. I mentioned to you earlier that I was going to have Peggy Hubbard on here because Peggy, I have her on ever so often and enjoy my conversations with her and her commentary on what's going on. It's kind of hard for Peggy to express herself on Facebook right now because she's been put in Facebook purgatory. Peggy Hubbard, how are you?
Pretty good, Mark. Glad to be here. Well,
I'm glad to have you on again. And I would assume that it had something. Was there some post you put up that they politically disagreed with on Facebook?
Well, there were 2 of them. One of them was they held a protest down in Carbondale, Illinois. That's a college town.
Sure.
And they tried to block the intersections in Carbondale. Well, Carbondale, I don't know if anybody knows, have ever been down there. It's pretty much a small-knit community. It's a college town. And a lot of these places around Carbondale are farmers. So you're going to try to block traffic and take off of what Chicago and these other big cities are doing down here in a rural community. These rural people down there are not putting up with that. And I guess one of the guys got fed up, older guy got fed up, and he ran through them. They were playing in traffic. So, people are getting fed up. And I may mention that, if you play stupid games, you're going to win a stupid prize. Well, that didn't go over well, and somebody reported that.
You just can't speak the truth anymore. If it's not politically correct, the folks at Facebook are gonna take it down. I guess.
Then,
I thought they were going to stop doing that.
And then I said that the police officer by the Black Lives Matter person that was all over the internet, I made comments about it, that it was highly inflammatory, grossly racist, because here you have a black man in a ski mask cutting a white man's throat.
I saw that picture.
And I made mention about that, and for that second reason, I was put into Facebook jail.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, my video from August of last year already went over 20 million in 2 days, and they threw me in Facebook jail. 20
million views on your rant from last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
20 million.
So what is the what's the punishment? Are you pulled for 2 weeks, or what do they do?
Until they say.
Really?
I don't know how long. Until they say.
You can't appeal it?
I sent in the information saying this was wrong. You know, we have Black Lives Matter talking about killing white folks, killing white cops, calling for deaths of white people across America, and taking up the struggle in killing white Americans. But that is okay for Facebook. But we, myself, who is pro-gun, NRA, everything, pro-police officers, pro-first responders, and I am sanctioned, I am censored, and I am not allowed to be on Facebook.
Well, Twitter's just about as bad, I think, these days. But I think that's a crying shame. Peggy, for people who didn't catch our conversation last week, I'm going to bring it up again. I know your husband was wounded in the line of duty. How's he doing? Can you give us an update?
Well, my husband was shot twice, Mark. He works in Hillsdale. And it's funny you should mention that, because I'm pretty upset with the organization's backstoppers. Not to take away from the police officer that was shot in the line of duty on a traffic stop. My husband was also shot twice in the line of duty at a traffic stop in Hillsdale, okay? There was no lemonade stand. There was no outcry for blood drives or anything else. There was nothing for him. And the bullet went through his body on both sides, came out of his back on one, and came above his chest on the other. And he's going to be off for some time because he has a lot of recovery to do. We have to worry about nerve damage.
Sure.
We have to worry about other things, and we have medical out the wazoo. Thank God I have good insurance. Okay, not to take away from the officer that was shot. This is a black town, Hillsdale, was predominantly black, and you have Baldwin, which is a West County, and they're predominantly white and is well-to-do. There has been nothing from backstoppers asking me about my husband, but the Fallen Hero Fund from Illinois called me the next day, asked me was there anything I needed, asked me how was Charles' injuries, came over to my house, presented me with a check, and calls every day to check on my husband to see how he's doing. I have been a staunch supporter of backstoppers since 1990, since my husband took the oath to become a police officer. I heard nothing from backstoppers. When other people call backstoppers, other officers are saying, hey, this cop is hurt, this cop was injured, and they said to them, and this is what they said verbatim, it is not a catastrophic injury that warrants them to grant assistance.
Wow.
Anytime a cop is shot, it is catastrophic. Anytime a cop goes down in the line of duty, it is catastrophic. My question to backstoppers is, was he the wrong color? Was he the wrong color?
Well,
this is a black cop in the black community who went down, who was able to return fire and get the guy. This is a white cop in West County that was injured as well. Yes, he's in the hospital, but because my husband did not spend a lot of time in the hospital, that make his injuries any less severe?
I think it's certainly a question worth asking him, and I'll reach out to backstoppers, give him a chance to come on the air and explain that. I know Ron Battelle. I'm sure he'd be willing to do it.
I worked with Ron Patel. I was one of his court officers, and I thought I knew him, but I am highly disappointed.
Well, I know they've got a board of people that make those decisions. So let's reach out to them and see what their answer is, and see if we can get an answer on that.
And
it
another
seems
thing,
inconsistent.
Mark, is the one officer, his bail was set. The shooter was set at $500,000. My husband's shooter, who was also black, his bond was set at $250,000. They were both shot at a traffic stop in the line of duty. Should be the same across the board. They're both cops, because I thought when you put on a uniform, you're not white, you're not black, you are blue.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good point. You are going to, are you still doing the ABC appearance?
I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear, and waiting for the producers to get back with me, but it is a great possibility, yes.
So they're doing a town hall where you might get an opportunity to pose a question to the president, correct?
In person, yes.
And what would that question be? Have you thought about it?
Yes. If Black Lives Matter, why is it that Chicago, that has the staunchest and the strictest gun laws in the country, have 67 people shot over the 4th of July holiday? Father's Day, they had 38 people shot. If Black Lives Matter, then why is it that we as black people are getting upset when a cop shoots one of us? We're all upset and we want to burn things down, but yet we are killing each other on a daily basis, and your White House doesn't even bat an eye. Cops are being executed at the gas station, sitting in their cars in New York, and you say nothing. This could have been shut down, Ferguson, that my husband was also a part of. You could have shut this down then. Why didn't you do it?
Yeah, I'll be sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for him to answer that one. I hope you get a chance. I hope you get a chance to ask that question. I don't know.
It needs to be said, Mark. It needs to be said. And you know what? It's about time. It's about time. We are tired as Americans, and we are fed up. We don't want talking heads. We want you to talk to us, not talk at us.
That's a good point. Peggy, our best wishes for your husband's continued recovery. We'll look into this Backstoppers issue, and I hope you get to go to this town hall, and we'll all be watching it when you do. And this Facebook thing just baffles me. And I mean, I know it's a private organization, but the way they're picking and choosing who gets to express their opinion is maddening.
Yeah, it's very maddening. And you would think a person that made a video a couple of days ago, and that was already at 180,000 in 2 days, and then the original video was at 20 million worldwide, and you shut me down. Really?
That's amazing. Peggy, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
My honor, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. Yep, thank you. Always great to have Peggy on, and I wish her the best of luck with that. Yeah, kind of interesting the way that's being treated with her husband's deal. We'll reach out to Backstoppers and see if we can get an answer on that, give people that. I'll get to your phone calls coming up next. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797, and 971talk.com/Cox. We are streaming the show live every day. If you don't have a chance to listen in your car, watch it at work. We'll talk to you soon.